Hello. Welcome to the live stream. I just want to make sure this is working. Uh, where am I? Can everybody hear me okay? Test, test, test. Whoops, let me turn this off. I think everything's working. If somebody could confirm, that would be great. I've got my microphone up here again, so it's a little further away from me. I tend to try to talk a little louder when it is, but I do have the gain up, so I'm thinking you can hear me fine. Uh, yep, we can hear and see you. Yep, awesome, great. Um, yeah, so what? This is the second live stream in a row that I've done this. I've moved. I usually have this little screen. It on the microphone, and I have that on the mic when I have the mic really close to my face, like for when I'm doing voiceovers. It helps cut down on the the popping sound or the plosives, I believe is what it's called, when you're recording your voice. But with the microphone that far away, we don't need this. So see you later. I'll put that back on next time I do a voiceover. Um, all right, who do we got? Looks like we've got 4 viewers in the. Oh wait, now one more thing I want to make sure. There's no echo, is there? I've got the live stream up on my monitor up high here, right up there. So hopefully I'll do a better job at seeing the chats as they come in because I've got them right over here now. So many screens, yet this monitor here is it's not, I guess, big enough to have my StreamYard on one side and the chat on the other. So what I've done is I've tried to move the YouTube part up above so I can see how many viewers we have, and the chats come in. So uh, hopefully this setup will work a little bit better. With the StreamYard side, I am still able to show comments from the viewers. Adam, welcome, Adam. Thanks for joining. We can hear and see you. That's great. Office Mystic, welcome to the live stream. And what else we have? Adam S, no echo. Awesome, that's great. Yeah. So what happens is if I leave a copy of my browser, the YouTube open with my live stream streaming through that channel, if I leave the audio on, then because there's a delay from me talking to you here and it appearing on the live stream, you'll kind of hear two copies of what I say. So, and one will be about 2 seconds behind the first. That's what happened a couple of streams ago. So, uh, 2 streams in a row, I have managed to fix this. So I just have to keep remembering to keep the volume off when I show the live stream to myself. Okay, so what do we got here? So I only came out with one video this past week, and it was last night. I don't know how many of you might have seen that, but I had a pretty busy week. So when I'm busy with Fiverr, doing work for my clients, and also some other things that I'm doing for my own business, kind of takes me away from the YouTube side. But I'm very committed to this YouTube thing, so I want to make sure I get at least one, minimum one, uh, hopefully 2 to 3 pieces of content out on YouTube every week. So I'm going to try to go live every Thursday. I did miss one Thursday a couple weeks ago. But and I almost missed today because I wanted to get a video out before I went live. And as I said, that was last night, but here I am. I made it. So I'll keep trying to do this. And as well, I will keep doing this. It's just that as I get busy with Fiverr and with the other things that I'm doing, that does take away from the time that I have available to make YouTube videos. So that's why only one additional video this week. Um, so what are we going to talk about today? I've got several questions lined up. Um, Feel free to ask questions in the live chat, and I'll try to get to them as they come in. I'll try to see them. Um, I'll look up here as often as I can to make sure I don't miss any. I don't see any in yet, but I have written down some that came in throughout the week. There was one that was asked last. Oh, actually, before I move on to that, let me just address. What am I doing here? Here, there. First, let me move to the main camera. So again, I'm new to this live streaming thing, and there's a lot of things going on here when you produce one of these things yourself, it can be very easy to forget some things. So I want to keep that camera on for the most part. The only time I want to go to this secondary view is if I want to show you some things on my desk or what have you. So for the most part, we'll just leave it right there. Um, yeah. So the little sidebar I have on my window here, download my free book. I wrote a book about couple months ago now, and I haven't done anything with it. My intention is to make it available on my website when my website is ready, and it's not ready. That's one of the things I've been working on this week. Um, so yeah, I'm going to make that available on the website. I may upload it to Amazon and make it available there. But until I decide exactly what I'm going to do with it, I'm giving it away for free to anybody who asks. So there it is. Download my free book. If you notice along the bottom of the stream here, right there, it has my email address, and simply send me an email, and I'll respond and give you a download link to the book. It's 38 pages. It walks through what I consider the 10 essential steps needed to get um, to grow a successful business on Fiverr as a freelancer. Um, as any type of freelancer, really, my experience is as a video editing freelancer. But you can do so many other things with Fiverr depending on what your skill sets are. If you're at all interested, you should go over and have a look. Fiverr.com. That's with two R's. Fiverr.com, and check it out. It's a great way to not only try to earn some side income or a full time income, which a lot of people are doing. It's also a great way to find people to help you with your own business. If you need something done, there's a lot of services offered there where you can go. For example, have a book cover created. This book cover that I have on my screen here. Um, I designed it in Canva, but to make it 3D like that, I didn't do that. I hired somebody on Fiverr, and it was either $5 or $10, and I might have paid a little more to have it done quickly. And then they sent me back the 3D version with the glow on the bottom and all that stuff. So, well worth it in my mind. I could have probably figured out how to do it, but it would have taken me a day, and I don't have that kind of time. So for me, $10 was worth having that done. So, anyways, yeah. So let me just take a quick look up here at the chats. Actually, I can see the chats in two different places. David Parsons, good day, Rob from BC. Welcome, David. Thanks for joining again this week. BC, I didn't realize you were also a Canadian. I'm in Canada. I'm on the other side of the country. I'm in Nova Scotia, just outside of Halifax. So we're 4 hours apart. It's just after 1 p.m. here, so it would be 9 a.m. there. Anyways, yeah. So not sure how many people out there know I'm from Canada. I'm sure there's a few words in my vocabulary that'll give it away with my Canadian accent. Um, let's see. David says, "Got the book and it's really good. Everyone should get while it's free." Thank you, David. Yeah, it's free, and anybody who wants it, I'll send it. It's in uh, PDF format, so it's not a hardcover or anything. Once it's on Amazon, it will be available in uh, hardcover, and I may even make it available in an audiobook format. And if I do that, I may voice it myself, or you can always hire other people to voice them for you. I've done a little bit of research in that, but hey, I offer voiceover service on Fiverr, so why not do it myself? Okay, what else we got here? David says, I use Laughing Bird software for graphics. I haven't heard of that one, Laughing Bird. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of different ways. It's whatever you're used to. I've been using Canva for probably the better part of 5 years, four anyway. Started off with their free version, and then ended up moving to the paid version because there's a lot more. Well, the biggest thing that I wanted to be able to do is download transparent PNGs and not just with a solid background. And I believe at the time, anyways, that was one thing you couldn't do with the free version. So I upgraded, and I love it. I use it for all kinds of things. Um, yeah. So Laughing Bird, though, no, I haven't heard of that one. I'll go. I'm gonna write. Well, it'll be here. I'm gonna check that out after the stream. Adam says, I'm curious how you align objects in Camtasia outside of the yellow snap guides that appear. Um, yeah, so the yellow snap guides are great. I use those all the time, and I love the way it snaps. Um, there's a couple other things you could do, like if you're trying to line up text on a screen, and let's say it's a blank screen. Let's say you want to create a frame that just has maybe a moving background or something and a blank screen. But then you want to have bullet points and you want them lined up. Maybe you want them all aligned to the left. Then what you could do is create uh, an annotation, like what do I have here? Let me just bring you over here. I'm going to show you what I would do. Uh, what basically you would bring in an annotation like a square or a rectangle that has a straight vertical edge and put that right on your screen temporarily. And then that line, that any text that you add that's say left justified, you can bring it over and snap it to that object. And then once you have everything aligned, you can delete the object. So that's what I would do. So for example, let me just share my screen here. Right here, if you look in the middle of the screen, I'm going to, let's say, okay, let's bring some text. Okay, we can't see that because my screen is white, so let's make that black. So I have some text here. Let's justify that to the left. Some text there. And now, well, first of all, if I copy and then paste, I'll get another copy of it. So it will align to the text above just like that, just because it's an object as well. But if there's some place, let's say you want it in a specific spot over here and there's nothing to snap it to, then what I would do is drag on a shape like so and put that to wherever you want. And then you can align your text to that shape, something different there. Copy and paste another one. And then they're all aligned to this object here. And then when you're finished, just delete this object. And then these are all aligned. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that's how I would do it. Yeah, and then you can grab all three of them. You can group them together if you want, or you can just move them around however you like. So yeah, that's. I hope that answers your question, Adam. Adam says, I find myself drawing a straight line and using those as a type of grid or alignment. Absolutely. Straight line works. A box, whatever annotation you want to use, drag it onto your screen, align it to that, and then delete it. That's perfectly acceptable. That's what I would do too. David says, chilly here this morning in BC. I knew you were in Canada. You call yourself the Maritimer, which is a Canuck thing. I think it is. Yeah, so I'm in one of the three maritime provinces in Nova Scotia. I live right on the water and I love it. I've actually never been to BC. Actually, I lie. I was in BC once, and that was when I was skiing at what's it called? In Banff. And going up the chairlift, when you're going up the chairlift in Banff, you pass a pole that says "Welcome to BC," and I think the very next pole said "Welcome back to Alberta." So for that brief 100-yard stint, I guess I was in BC. But other than that, I haven't been. I'd love to go. I'm a little afraid or a little nervous too because it looks so beautiful, and I might like it so much I'd want to live there. But I'm quite happy where I am. But no, beautiful country we live in. Adam says, "Yep, that's how I do it. Thank you for covering the best practice." Yeah, again, that's how I do it. Not sure it's the best way. It's the best way I can think of. But yeah, I think it's perfectly acceptable to do that. Um, and it does make it easier if you the larger monitor you have. I use a 4K monitor, and because of that, I get a lot of extra screen real estate. Because if you start adding annotations on different layers, your timeline here can get quite large. So you'll end up moving this up or making the timeline smaller to see it better. But yeah, the larger the monitor that you have, the more of these tracks you'll be able to see at one time. Makes it a little bit easier. Right now, I have my monitor set. It's a 4K monitor, but I have it set at 200% just for this live stream because it makes things a little bit bigger, a little bit easier for you guys to see through YouTube. Otherwise, I usually have it set at 150%. And as I've mentioned before, the main reason I like using a 4K monitor with Camtasia is when I'm recording a screen, when I'm making a video tutorial and I have to record a screen, I want to record in 1080p. So what I can do is within my 4K monitor, I can create a recording area that's here. Let me just back here. Within my 4K screen, I can create a 4K recording area. Sorry, a 1080p sized recording area inside my 4K monitor without having to get any of the bottom taskbar icons or the icons I have on the side of my desktop. I can cut those out easily and just size my Google Chrome window if that's what I'm recording just within the 1080p size. Then I have a perfect 1080p recording, which is great. I don't do video tutorials in 4K. I haven't seen the need to. Sometimes I'll go up 50% larger than 1080, and that is I wrote that down somewhere. I always forget. It's 1920 times 1.5, so that's 2880 by I think it's 1620. Gives you an even larger view, and that gives you more room, more ability to zoom in closer when you're panning around in your video tutorial in edit. So, anyways, yeah, that is that. So if there's nothing else right now in the chat, again, feel free to ask any questions you want as we go. I'm going to try to be here for at least an hour. That shouldn't be an issue. I've got lots of things written down here. I may go over an hour. It all depends on if there are any unanswered questions. I'll just keep going as long as you guys want me here. So that is that. So yeah, so coming up, I'm going to continue to make more free tips and tricks videos or quick tip videos, is what I'm calling them, on Camtasia in the coming weeks. At some point, I'm going to pivot from that a little bit and move more towards. See, I advertise this live stream and my channel as not just Camtasia help, but also Fiverr help and freelancing in general, and running a home based business, internet entrepreneuring, if you will. So that's what I do, and the whole idea behind this channel was to start teaching people or helping people understand what I do, how I do it, so that I could perhaps help you do the same thing. So, but I've only been focusing on Camtasia for the first little bit, and perhaps, we're up to over 780 subscribers now, which is awesome. Thank you very much. And I suspect most of you are here for the Camtasia quick tips because that's really all I've been posting. Um, and we'll soon find out, I guess, once I do make that pivot and start making videos on Fiverr and freelancing, if there's still the same amount of interest. It might take a little extra time for those to catch on, so there will be overlap, and I'll be streaming both. I'll always be here to help with Camtasia. I am myself learning Premiere Pro on the side. I'm diehard Camtasia through and through. I love it for its screen recording capabilities, and it's a great and easy to use video editor. But video editing is not where it started. It started as a screen recording software that has kind of morphed into video editing software, and you can do a lot of things that you used to only be able to do in a program like Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve. Um, uh, yeah, you for complex video editing, you used to have to go to those other software programs. But more and more, Camtasia is doing all of the things that they can do. But having said that, there are differences, and I would like to learn more about the Premiere Pro stuff. But I will, since the majority of my income through Fiverr comes from making video tutorials, uh, and video tutorials requires screen recording. And since I love Camtasia's screen recording, capturing much better than say OBS, I don't see myself ever leaving Camtasia. I may use both Camtasia and Premiere. Yeah. So, anyways, don't be shocked if someday I come out with a video that's totally not to do with Camtasia at all. It's more on video editing. Uh, Here's your warning. That's coming at some point in the near future. Um, Let me just take one more quick look at the chat here. Here we go. So Adam says, when you create a Fiverr gig, do you replicate it and change the content a little to be in several different yet similar categories? Um, Great question, Adam. Yes, I have. The jury is still out on whether or not or how well it works. I've seen a lot of people set up many different gigs. So, for example, for video tutorials, I only have one gig for video tutorials, and it works great for me. If I can just, I'm just gonna jump over to my screen. And I'll show you. Here, let me just hide this book overlay for now. Get it out of the way. There we go. And I don't need. Let's get rid of that bottom banner as well. Okay, so now on my screen, if I were to go over to Fiverr here, so let's go to my profile. So here are my gigs. I'll just close that. Um, so here are my gigs. I have 7 active gigs right now, and only one of them is for video tutorials, and it's right here. I will make a professional video tutorial of your. That's all you really see here until you click on it, and then you can see more about it here. Play the video that I made, and so on. So, and the description would be down here. So, um, there's other there's other types of videos that people will see this gig, and they'll come to me and they'll ask a question in the chat. They'll say something like, "Oh, yeah, I love your video tutorials, but what I'm looking for is to convert my PowerPoint presentation into a video, for instance." And sure, I can do that. That's not a stretch. A PowerPoint is basically just a bunch of images, which you can use Camtasia to string a bunch of images together, and then add transitions, add voiceover if they want, background music if they want, all that stuff you can do in Camtasia. Yeah, I've done that, and that's worked out great. Even though the main gig did not say I convert PowerPoint presentations to videos. Now, if I start getting a lot of requests for the same type of video that's different than the way my gig reads, then I will create a new video tutorial for that. And an example of that, if I just go back here, is right here, video subtitles. This one here is my main gig, or was my first gig, the one that started my journey on Fiverr. Um, and I would get a lot of questions about adding translated subtitles. Okay, so perhaps the client has has an English video, but they want Spanish subtitles on it. Well, I can do that. I don't know very much Spanish myself, but what I do, I know enough to follow text and to match it with audio, if that makes sense. So I did that for about a year. I would offer that when people asked, but they'd have to ask me for it first. And then after a while, I said, well, you know what? So many people are asking me for this. Why don't I create a separate gig just for that? And that's what I did here. Well, two versions: French subtitles to an English video, or add Spanish subtitles to an English video. Same thing as the main gig, but I just it's another gig that could be discovered in the Fiverr search when people are looking for, I want French subtitles added to my English video. Well, then this one would probably come up. or much more often than the main one. So, um, but yeah, I still get of all of my subtitle gigs, I probably still get 98% of them coming through this main one, even some requesting translations to Spanish and French, um, which I offer with. It's just another way to get that gig discovered. So I kind of went on and on about that, but hopefully that that answered your question. Do you replicate it and change the content a little to be in several different? Yes. Yeah. So I didn't really replicate this. I created a completely new video for it. I probably copied the description and pasted it into the next one just to save some time, and then went through it and edited some things. And then I would set up the pricing structure a little bit differently. So I would edit that, but yeah, a lot of it can be copied and pasted, and you're welcome once you reach certain stages within Fiverr and or levels. Once you've sold so much, and I don't know what the levels are, but for example, once you've sold X number of dollars or earned X number of dollars through Fiverr, then you're allowed so many more gigs. I think you're allowed 3 starting off, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'm currently allowed 25. There's no way I need that kind or that many. But yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Let me just go down here. David Parsons says, "Will you be creating a tutorial for doing lives on YouTube? I just got StreamYard, but not sure what to do next." Yeah, that's a great idea. I would love to. I've talked a bit about it in here before. StreamYard, I actually signed up for StreamYard a solid 6 months before I used it. I mean, I practiced with it, never went live, but I StreamYard allows you to practice with it, and you can also have a um, use their free version before you start paying for it. I think the free version only allows you to broadcast up to 720p, whereas if you want to broadcast at 1080, you have to go paid. But I upgraded to the paid version again several months before I actually went live. A couple reasons. I wasn't ready. I was really actually nervous. The first time I did it, I've never done anything like this. This is now number 4, I think. So I'm getting a little more comfortable with it. And it's fun. But yeah, no, I'd love any questions you have about StreamYard, feel free to ask and I'll answer. But in the meantime, yeah, I will create a video on how to set up StreamYard, um, how I set it up. I mean, there's different ways to use it. I mean, real quickly, I just have I actually have 2 cameras as you can see here. 1, 2. So one here, that's the one that I mainly talk in. And then from this view, you can't see it, but the one that's coming from is on a tripod. Um, those 2 cameras I have going into my A10 Mini Pro, which is this thing down here. That's a hardware video switcher, and there's big buttons on it that I can actually plug into up to 4 cameras. And eventually, I want to get like a top-down camera. I may have a behind-the-scenes camera as well. But top-down would be good for video tutorials, and also for the course that I want to create, where I can maybe have a board that I write on my desk. Um, so yeah, that allows me to do that. So I do that switching outside of StreamYard, and then there's one output from the A10 Mini Pro that goes into my computer, and the computer recognizes it as a webcam. So when you open up StreamYard, I select the A10 Mini, or it's called Black Magic. That's who makes the A10. I select the Black Magic output as my webcam. I select the Focusrite as my audio because this microphone is an XLR mic that goes into my audio interface by Focusrite. And that plugs into the computer. So you select your video, your audio, and that's it. Oh, you have to link it to, excuse me, you have to link it to YouTube, which I did a while ago. So I'm going to have to brush up on how I did that. Once you set all that up, it stays set up in StreamYard so that all I have to do is go to streamyard.com, log in, say I want to I type in my video title and description as if I were uploading a YouTube video. I do that in StreamYard. It's already connected to YouTube, and I click set up, or I schedule it I schedule the live stream, and then when I click to launch that, I can go into the it's called the studio. I can go into the StreamYard studio, and then I can start uploading overlays, like uh, that. There is an overlay. The one there that I created for my first live stream, that's an overlay. You can upload all of those. There are videos. You can upload videos to it. Your branding. This little live icon up in the top point here, up here. Watch if I click here. I actually had a bigger one there for the first live stream, but then I just made a smaller one. Um, yeah, you upload all that into your StreamYard studio, and then you have all kinds of things at your disposal to click and open and whatnot. But the thing is, when you're doing this yourself, you may want to practice a little bit first, or I mean, what the heck, just go for it. People are very understanding live. Um, I mess up. Like there are times when, okay, how do I get rid of that overlay? I have to. It's a couple clicks away. Um, so it does take some practice to get good at it, and I'm by no means there myself, but it's fun to learn, and I think I'm getting the hang of it. Um, but yeah, I will make a video on that to make I made your simple question into a very long answer. Adam says, perfect. Thank you about the Fiverr gig. No problem. Okay, so that's it for the live questions right now. I'll keep my eye on that, but what I have written down. So yeah, the book again, anybody who wants a copy of that, just send me an email and I'll respond with a link so you can download that. It's not going to be free forever. I'm guessing right now to the end of this month. It really depends on how long it's going to take me to get my website up and running. I've got the domain name, I got the hosting account, and now I just have to remind myself how to build a WordPress website. So, yeah, that's taking a little longer than I thought it would. Um, Next thing on my list is Camtasia versions. Somebody last week. Oh, just 1 second now. I have one more question. Let's just get to that. David says, I've done many Facebook Lives using my iPad because it's easy. No need for anything extra. Just go in and go live. That sounds great. That's awesome. I've never done. Actually, no. There was a time that I did when I was coaching a curling team. Uh, that'll give away the fact that I'm Canadian right there. When I was coaching my daughter's curling team a few years ago, we used to try to broadcast that live, and I would do it from my phone. The internet usually wasn't that great in a curling club. The Wi-Fi signal wasn't great, so I mean, it worked, but that was my first experience with live streaming. Not from an iPad though. That's a good idea. It was much smaller in the phone for sure. But no, there's all kinds of ways you can go live now. I'm just comfortable in my office here. Don't see the need to be portable at this point. Who knows? Maybe in the future. So yeah, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the Camtasia versions. We're on Camtasia 2021 right now, and somebody asked me last week, when's Camtasia 2022 coming out? I did a little bit of research, and although I don't have the answer to that, let me just bring something up here. I went back and I looked up the dates of the past releases, and here's what I found. So last year it was April 27th that they came out with 2021. April 28th came out 2020 version came out April 28th. April 30th the previous year, and June 19th of 2018 is when the 2018 version came out. So if we don't look at 2018, the last 3 years, if we keep going on that trend, we should be getting very close to Camtasia 2022 being released. Um, I haven't really heard any rumors as to what will be in it. I'm looking forward to it. Last year, when 2021 came out, there were some great new features. So I'm excited to see what this year has to offer. As soon as I know when it's going to be released, or as soon as I notice that it's released, I'll let you all know, and I'll do a little video on what has been added, the new features and whatnot has been added to the new version of Camtasia. So fingers crossed that it comes out in the next week or two. That would be awesome. Another question that was asked. This was asked on a video in the comments section of one of my videos, and that was about Camtasia shortcuts and the ones that I like to use. Well, actually, the question was specific. Let me go back to share my screen and let me just hide this overlay here, and I'll hide the banner at the bottom. Okay, so um, Camtasia shortcuts. So what the one that was asked about was how to go to the beginning of the timeline quickly. So, I mean, obviously, one way is you just click anywhere up here to put your playhead anywhere in the timeline you want, and then you click and hold the playhead here and drag it to the beginning. That's honestly that's the way I do it 95% of the time. But let's say you're zoomed in a lot, and you can tell you're quite far along in the timeline, and you want to quickly jump to the beginning. Well, the shortcut you can use is press the Control key and then the Home key. Boom, takes you right back to the beginning. Um, yeah, so that's it. Control Home. I answered the question in the comments, but I just wanted to show here in the live. In addition, you can go Control End, takes you to the very ending of the last clip in your project. So Control Home takes you to the beginning. Control End takes you to the end, and those are some great shortcuts. Um, Another shortcut that I use all of the time is Control Z for undo. And I said that the American way. In Canada, it's Control Z. Control Z. That will undo the last thing that you did, and you can go back several steps if you've done several things. So let me just. So this video here, this is the tutorial I had queued up in Camtasia, and these are the three items that I added to answer a question earlier in this live stream. And if I wanted, so I remember those are the last things that I did. If I start doing Control Z, that'll start undoing everything I did. So let's do it once. It backed that up again. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, again, 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 and so on and so on. You can back up as many times as you want. In addition, Control Y is the redo. So now, just looking at the same thing, if I hold down Control and press Y, 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 I'm holding Control this whole time. Control Y, Control Y. It's redoing all of the things that I had just undone. Okay, so obviously you can only redo until you come up to the present time. But no, two very handy. And I don't use the redo as often, but I use undo every day, every single day, multiple times. Um, so yeah, that's a good shortcut to know. Another one is S for split, um, and that's when you're dealing with the timeline. So say down here, say this shape, which is this one here. Let's say shape's not a good example. Let's take this clip right here. Let's say I just wanted to split it. Maybe at this point, I want to change this scene so that it's zoomed in the next scene. So with that element selected in the timeline, I just press the letter S and it splits it. See, it splits it into one, two different items. Okay, and then I can move to this one and I can change the properties. Maybe I want it to scale in. So now you can see if I go back to the first one, press space bar, another good uh, shortcut that I use all the time. Space bar plays, and then space bar again to stop the playhead when you're in the timeline. So space bar,
Child company relationship.
there you can see the jump cut, if you will, the jumped in. If I wanted to undo that, Control Z. That undid the scaling that I did on the second one, and then Control Z again. That undid the split. Okay, so S is the shortcut for split. Uh, if you weren't so used to that, the other way to do it with your mouse, if you come over here, if you hover over that icon right there, is split. And as you can see, it says right after split in brackets, the letter S is the shortcut for that. Okay. And the other shortcut I wanted to mention was the control and the mouse wheel to zoom in and out of your timeline. So if I hold down control and start moving my mouse wheel, so I'm moving my mouse, rolling it up, zooms me in, rolling it down, zooms me out. See what that's doing? The whole time I'm holding down the control key. So I use that all the time too. And it's going to zoom in and out to the location where you have the playhead. So if I move the playhead over here and I hold control down and then roll the mouse wheel up, it's zooming in on that portion until, of course, you're so far zoomed out that you're seeing the whole project. So also, if I move the playhead to the very beginning, hold control down, start zooming in, notice how it's, I'll move myself out of the way. Notice how it's zooming in and out. The playhead at 0 is still staying on the screen. Okay, so very handy shortcuts. Control home goes to the very beginning. Control end, control end takes you to the end. Home, end, and then Control Z and Control Y. Control Z undoes, Control Y redoes. S for split, and then the control and the mouse wheel to zoom in and out of your timeline. Very handy. Um, all right, what is next? Another question I had: where is Spotlight? So the video I came out with last night, the video I posted on YouTube last night was my 3 favorite custom animations that I use in virtually every video tutorial I make for myself or my clients, and I mostly make them for clients now. Um, so one of the questions came in. So my third of the 3 favorite animation types. One was here in the beginning. As you can see, I've got a little animation on the logo. I've got one animation here and then another one right afterwards, 2 animations on the same logo. And that gives a slow zoom and then a fast zoom and then a slow zoom. Let me change the background back to white. That's what it's supposed to be for this project. Okay, that was one of my favorite custom animation types I use all the time. I start most of my videos off like this. The other type is if I use a zoom or pan of the screen in the video tutorial. So there's an example of one. Here's another example of a pan up and to the right. There's another zoom out right there. And then the third type was on these spotlights. Notice how up top I've got these spotlights periodically in the video tutorial. These I add these when I want to highlight something. So if I'm about to click something in the video tutorial and I'm saying in my voiceover, now click the start button. Often I will highlight that start button with an annotation called a spotlight. And I mistakenly forgot to say how to put the spotlight in the video. I just showed how to add an animation to it. So here's where you find the spotlight. It's already selected. If I go up to media, now I have it in my favorites right here. That's it right there. But if you don't have it in your favorite, if you don't use favorites, you should because it's awesome. It saves a lot of time. All of the annotations and the tools that I use most often, I keep in my favorites folder. This is something that you build up yourself. And see all these stars? Um, the stars that are yellow indicate that I have favorited those tools so that they show up in my favorites. So, but where you normally find the spotlight is here in annotations. And notice when you hover over these, the star that appears that you could click. If you click to make it yellow, it'll appear in your favorites. Like this one is my favorite text tool, and so on. So, anyways, you go to annotations, come up to the teardrop, which is the special type of annotations. Click on that, and there's Spotlight right there. So you can just click and you can drag that down, and that drags a spotlight here right onto your, and there it is, right onto your screen. And then you can resize it, you can move it around, and you can add animations to it like this. So maybe I want it to start there And then at the end, I want it to be over here, and maybe it's bigger. So now let's watch what I did there, and we animate it. Okay, that's it for that. So Spotlight, that's how you find it. And sorry, I forgot to mention that in the video I made last night. So um, that's that. Now, any other questions? Let me see here. Let's go back into the questions. Uh, John Mayer. Hello, John. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining. Kindly ask for the link kindly ask for the link to download the book. Okay, so what you have to do to download the book is I have to send you a link. So in order to do that, I don't currently have a website set up where you can enter your email address and then you get sent a link automatically and then you can download it. I'm working on that. I tried to have that set up for today's live stream, but I just ran out of time. Hopefully for next week. But until then, you have to send me an email. Um, and let me just put that back on the screen here. Right there. There's my email address on the bottom of the screen. If you just send me a request to that email, that's my personal email address. I will reply with a link so that you can download it from my Google Drive. And I hope you enjoy. Yeah. So let's just put that back on here. That's about the book right there. Okay. So another question I had was about the subscribe animation. So at the end, always at the end of my videos, sometimes at the beginning, and I've played around with where to put it, but there's a subscribe animation that I have pop up on my YouTube screen, on my video screen in YouTube videos. And it's when I say, if you liked this content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Um, and as I say that, I have an animated subscribe button come up on the screen. And then there's a couple of sound effects and whatnot, and then it animates away. And the question that somebody had was, did I make that animation in Camtasia? And the answer is no. I downloaded it from, and I believe it was Storyblocks is where I get most of my assets that I use in my videos. And you can go to Storyblocks and search for. Let me just do that. You can search for. Or can I do that? No, I'll just tell you. You can go to Storyblocks or any other place that provides assets for your videos. And I downloaded a pre-made animation of that subscribe button, but it was on a green screen. Um, of course, Camtasia has a great tool that allows you to remove the green screen, so that's what I did. So it's essentially a video on my video with the green screen removed. And then, so what I've done is I imported that right here. So let me just bring it back over here and oh, I don't have once again, I have to get used to doing this. There we go. Here's my screen. Here is, let me just put it right in the middle. This little thing here is my subscribe animation. Let me just play it for you.
Continue by searching for and adding other companies you want to link.
With some sound effects. I can't hear the sound effects. I don't have my headphones on, but I'm hoping you can. So yeah, that if you click on this arrow here, you can see that I added a remove a color effect. And with it selected, I can come up here. Wait, now I'm going to have to hide this. Brand, let's hide that. Okay, with this selected, if you come up here to the effects window, properties, remove a color is selected, and I have, now why does that say, or I have to actually select the video. So with the video selected, we come to remove a color. Oh, it's interesting. It says black is, what did I do here? What happens if I remove a color? Oh, it is black. I'm sorry. I thought it was a green screen. Well, this just goes to show you that green isn't the only color you can you can get rid of in a video. So this was not a green screen version. This was a black screen version of this. So this is a video.
Continue by
And as you
searching
can
for
see,
and
if I
adding other
just use
companies
the
you want to
space
link.
bar to play, you can see that it acts like a video. But to get rid of all that black screen, you use the remove a color effect. And the way you find that is over here on the left. You want your video effects. They don't show here, so I'm going to click more. Visual effects. Click on that. Scroll down to the bottom, and here's remove a color. Notice I have it starred, so it's also in my favorites right here. Remove a color. Take this and drag it either onto this uh, the video in the timeline or onto the video in the canvas. It doesn't matter. And then let go. So the effect has been added. And as you can see over here, it shows up in the properties window. Remove a color and it's activated. Now we have to change the color. Right now, it's trying to remove this green color, which there is no green in this video. So let's use the color picker and we'll select this black color to remove it. And there it goes. It's gone. Now, there may be some things you have to do to, like we can zoom in here. I'm using my scroll wheel on my mouse to scroll in closer. And then just with it zoomed in, you want to scrub along here and see if it looks okay. If you think you want to remove some more, like it looks like there's some artifacts around here of black, it didn't quite get all of it. You can start playing with these. So tolerance, if I go all the way down, there's more artifacts there. I can go up. That looks, but if I go too far, see the black subscribe button starts to go away. And it's not black. It's actually like an off black or a gray. That's what allows it to stay. Um, so that looks good. And you can play with the softness one as well. That would help. And then once you get it the way you want, that's it. You can then position it in the timeline wherever you want, and then position it in your video where you want. So if you want it centered and at the bottom, just like that.
Continue by searching for and adding other.
And that's it. That's how I added the subscribe animation. I did not animate it with Camtasia. I just used the Camtasia remove a color tool. Um, yeah, animating in Camtasia can be tricky. It, I love Camtasia's animation uh, tools. Well, actually, they have lots of different types of animations, but I use the custom animation all the time. Like that's the only one I use. Except for things like there's other tools like, but they're more transitions, like the fade transition. I use that a lot. But like if we go to my favorites here, just look in my favorites, you can see the tools that I use all the time. Fade or fade through black. That's if I want something just to fade to a black color and then fade back into the next scene. Or if I just want one to fade into the other, where for a brief time you can kind of see a little bit of both. That's just the straight fade one here. Custom animation is right here. Restore is one that you use if you've animated something away from an initial state. You use the custom animation for that. If you then want to easily animate it back to the state it was before the animation, use the restore one. And I've only recently started using that. I would always use the custom one, even to go back to where I was before. Um, I just found that it was, I got so used to using it, it became the only one I used. But using the restore animation option is a little bit quicker. And then, of course, remove a color. I use that. I use that quite often as well. Not as often as the animation. I use animation and fade and this spotlight up here in virtually every tutorial I make. Um, yeah. So where does that leave us? Animation with Camtasia. So in talking about what I'm going to do next, I'm not going to go over this today because it gets quite involved. But um, as you know, you can, or as you probably know, you can animate things. So you can animate right here. Wait now. Here we go. Right here, we can see that I have animated this spotlight. So here's the spotlight. and here it is on the canvas. And this animation right here, you can see that I basically moved it from top to bottom. It's a straight line animation. And you can use these animation arrows to move things up and down or sideways or diagonally, and as you move them, you can make them bigger or make them smaller, change the shape. Well, it's always a square for spotlights. But there's all kinds of things you can do with these animations. But there's all kinds of things you can't do. And I've been learning a few tricks on things like how to animate an object in a circle. Okay. Um, there's no, there's nothing here in animations and all of these animation types um, that allows you to animate something in a circle. But I figured out a way to do it, and it's pretty cool. Several steps are involved, and I know I'm coming up on an hour here already, so I'm not going to go through it today. But if anybody is interested in learning about that, leave a comment below, or you can just let me know in the chat, and I'd be happy to make a video on that, and even maybe go over that in next week's chat, or sorry, in next week's live stream. It's pretty cool. You can animate things in a circle. You can create like a bouncing ball effect with these techniques that I've learned. You can do a lot of stuff that is not obvious when you first look at Camtasia, and it involves grouping things together and animating animations and things like that. It can get complicated, but if you break it down into its individual steps, you can do anything you want. So, or I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of things you can do that it doesn't look like you can do out of the box. So yeah, that's coming down the pike. I'm going to go over some of those things. Um, and another thing that I want to go over is green screen removal. I don't do a lot of this for myself. I don't have a green screen. Well, actually, I do. I've never used it. I've got a green sheet in my closet there. I've never used it. But at the time when I got it, I think the first time I tried to use it, they work best if you light them up really well. So there's a lot of depth between you and the green screen, so that you can have the lights behind you shining on only the screen, and that'll give you a nice even color of green throughout the whole screen. But what to do if you can't get your lighting perfect? What if the green screen video you make is not the same green all through? It might be a shade of green. It might be darker on one side. Maybe there's a shadow or something, and lighter on another side. That becomes a lot trickier to remove from a video in Camtasia. Um, but again, there's a trick to doing that. It involves another couple of steps, and I'm going to make a video walking through how to do that. So hopefully that's something you'd be interested in as well. Let me know. And if there's anything else you want me to go through, let me know that as well. Again, in the chat or in the comments below, or if you're watching this on the replay, let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to. I answer all questions that are posted in my comment sections of my video, in the comment sections of my videos, and then I'll typically, if I think more than one person would see value in them, I'll typically go through them in the live stream as well the following week. Um, yeah, and the only other thing that I'm working on when I have the chance is, as I said, my website. I want to get a website that is kind of like a central area of everything that I have planned. So it can be a place where you can go to download the book. Again, the book that I wrote. um, it can be a place that talks about how to be a freelancer, talks about Fiverr, perhaps with some links to Fiverr and what I do on Fiverr. I want to get more into teaching other people how to make a living on Fiverr, because in this day and age, I don't see a lot of reasons why just about anybody couldn't. Um, uh, you see a lot of videos online that says things like, "Oh, um, how to earn $1 million on Fiverr with no skills," stuff like that. The no skills part is what gets me. I don't agree with that. You do need some skills, but skills can be learned. Um, so not with no skills, but as long as you're willing to learn a new skill, if you don't think you have any marketable skills yet that you can sell on Fiverr, as long as you're willing to learn, and you have some time to be able to do that, then just about anybody can grow a business. They can start off as a side business, which is how I started, and then grow into a full time income, which I've done in. Oh, I would consider my Fiverr business as a full-time income after about a year, and I've been doing it for going on 3.5 years now. So, and again, it's my full-time thing, but again, with an eye to the future, I don't wanna be working, 12 to 16-hour days every day, 6, 7 days a week for the rest of my life. That's great now, and I can handle that now. But at some point in the future, I want to be able to scale things back, and that's why I'm starting to introduce an element of teaching other people how to do what I do. So when the day comes that I don't want to work as hard on my gigs on Fiverr, then maybe perhaps the YouTube side of things, and teaching people how to do what I do can start taking over with maybe some passive income through ad revenue or affiliate revenue or um, selling courses that I plan to make. I'd really like to make a course before the end of this year. Again, my first digital product that I've made is my book, which I'm giving away right now. But at some point, I will sell that, not for very much, but it'll depend on what else I have. So if someday I start selling the book, it's because I have something else that's smaller that I am giving away for free. Maybe it's a checklist or a planner or something like that. So, and then when I come out with a course, which is going to be much larger and lots of hours of video, um, then I will have a lead magnet that leads into that, and maybe the book becomes free again. And that, if download this free book, and then I will start talking about my course if you're interested. So those things need a place to live, not just on YouTube. I'll talk about them on YouTube, but need a website. I need a website to anchor all of that. Right now, my website is basically my Fiverr profile. All of my business is through Fiverr. I don't use any other uh, freelance platform. I know there are others. There are other good ones. Upwork is probably the other most popular one. I just never. I mean, I think I have an account there that I set up a few years ago, but once Fiverr started taking off, I just kind of ran with that one, and it keeps me busy. So as busy as I want to be. So yeah, that's where I'm headed. Um, Let me check the chat one last time. I think a couple new ones came in. David Parsons says, love animations in Camtasia. Lots of fun. Yes, they are actually. The more I learn about what you can do, the more ideas I have in my head of, okay, well, if I can do that, like if I can make a ball rotate around a circle, then I should be able to make that ball kind of do anything, really. So, I mean, some of these animations will take a long time to make, but and maybe if for somebody who's well versed in I don't know what program, Adobe, what is it, Illustrator or After Effects, I believe, you can animate with that. But in my mind, that's a lot more complicated. Maybe once you learn those programs, it becomes easier. But I'm diving fairly deep into Camtasia right now. So as I learn new techniques about animating objects on the screen, I'll share them with you in videos and in these live streams. Lots of fun. Diet Coke, welcome to the live stream. Do you have any experience with uploading SCORM packs to Moodle? Okay, that no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I don't know what SCORM is. Let me just quickly do a search. SCORM could actually be really funny, or not. SCORM courses. Okay, it looks like an LMS, like a learning management system. Um, no, and Moodle. Let me just quickly look that one up. Online learning platform. No, I have not gotten into that. But I do know there's a part of Camtasia that caters to that. You can create complete courses and upload them to learning management systems like those. You can even create quizzes and have interactability and all that kind of thing. I haven't gotten into that. My experience with Camtasia is limited to creating video tutorials, adding subtitles to videos, um, adding translated subtitles to videos, and things like that. Even resizing videos for other social media platforms. If going from a widescreen video to a vertical video for Instagram stories, for example, or IGTV, um, or TikTok videos. I can do those sorts of things, but I have not gotten into the learning management side of Camtasia. So sorry, I don't have any experience with that. Um, so I think that is pretty much it. Again, if anybody wants a copy of my book, it's not huge. It's not. I mean, you could probably power through it in an evening. Probably. I mean, I don't read very fast. I can power through it in an evening. It's only 38 pages. It's PDF format. I'll send you a download link. Just send me an email and request it, and I will send it to you. It's free for at least the next 2 weeks because I don't see myself getting my website up before the end of this month. And even after that, I might continue offering it for free for a period of time. So yeah, just send me an email and I'll send it out to you. Uh, and then the last thing before I go, I'll just bring that back up again. All eyes on the release of Camtasia 2022. I will if anybody hears anything about it, let me know. In the meantime, I am going to try to find out a little bit more. I'm going to be watching their website, looking for the release. Hopefully, it's going to be by the end of this month, as it was the last 3 years. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they are going to add to this awesome software. Um, yeah, with that said, if there are no other questions, we will wrap this up for today. Thanks again for tuning in to the live stream. And for those who are watching on the replay, thanks for watching. I will come out with another, probably just one video this week before going live again next Thursday. And I'll aim to do that again at 1 p.m. my time, which is 12 p.m. Eastern, next week. Yeah, with that said, thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you next time.